So thank you for inviting me. This is wonderful. I am very happy to be here.
아니 gel라 델리아 kalau kugam na wade tu chest an nganzo nga delalia yonga pe go chumsums.
So I'd like to start right in today. And the first thing I'd like to do is just review a couple of things.
아니 다다리 nganzo 당보 고주 용디로와 아니 간zo 야종 하시 지기 있으와.
So the first thing I'm going to do is ask you what makes a light bulb work? What is the most direct cause for a light bulb?
다 지워 당보 디카리 라벤나 아니 nganzo 된데 쉐도 바르고도와. 디 쉐도 바야리야 아니 켄소 디카르차 요레스. 가릴 켄 가를라 때 nganzo 쉐도 바르고 요레스. 록슈 그래. Oh yeah, they're saying current.
Ah, yes, perfect. Okay, so then that is correct. So what is a current?
아니 기타 지워들 렌딩 송스와 아니 로그인 해야 돼 카레스. I'm asking them to use the mic so that at least you can hear their voices saying.
Yeah.
Even though they do speak in Tibetan.
Thank you.
Huh? Lin 가르쳤어? 로그인 해야 돼 카레. 지워? Okay, so they're saying movement of charge.
Perfect. Okay, so then my next question is, how do you get the charges to move?
아니, 지마디 카린 라베나 아니 계란 속에 먼저 뭔가 쿨 교알이야 교에 그런 간데스 용주 임바스 가리 용 간데스 용 투게레스 쿨 교세 지그와 So due to voltage.
Yes, perfect. And what would they describe the voltage as, in their own words? So how would you describe voltage in your own words?
계란 속에 웰체스에들이야 대시시하고나 계란 속 한데스 얘기인 바스 웰체스에 또나 계란 속에 고된 샤워나 한데스 얘기인 바스 저거 Okay, so the energy that drives the current is called voltage.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, great. So when you have a current, it makes light bulbs work and electronics work, and it also creates a magnetic field.
다 먼저 기시로와 아니 단다 로규여비나 아니 베게 먼저 단다 쉘도 되게 내가 지주요레스 현재 쉘도 되게 바르투요레스 디나냠도 아니 카블랭기 라와양 중요레스.
This is really important basic law of physics that currents make magnetic fields.
다 띵감 세리 나올리야 시제기로와 신유 내가 치실지 가르라베나 아니 로균기 카블레 라와 주기레스야 디 개천부 베레스.
So the question of the day is, does it work in reverse? So currents make magnetic fields, but do magnetic fields also make currents?
다 다른 게 가져와 지원 내가 치실지 가르쳐야라베나 기시 로균기 카블레 라와 준기여베나 카블레 라와기 로균 준투 그레베스야 디 지와 와 디레스와.
So we're going to figure that out today. But before we get started, I'd like to know what people think.
아니, 딱 간저 드링로와 드링 롭체 나올이야 장아이 닝도돼야 디차요레스와 자장 카블라베 로균 준투 그레베스 애들이야 렌데베드레스 이메네야 겔라 이말업니니 겔라 캐라 안들레 캐랑 속이 아니 섬주 체비나 용구레 섬구도 가르로스 공구도스 망체 용구레 섬구도 봐 so that most of them think that electromagnetic field can create current.
Okay, okay, so yes, that is correct, but it's not exactly correct. There's more to the story.
다 지당 렌드 디기디요레스와 딜레디 카블레라웨 로균 준투고 세딜레 임바이네야 갑도 태가르 렌드 준투고 다세 아직 말레스와 디인디 디낭로리야 니즈 심바 망보지에 용고요레스.
So a magnetic field can make a current only if the magnetic field is changing.
다 내가 지실지 가르라베나 카블레라웨기 로균 가디 준투고 라베나 카블레라와들이야 요아팁기요베나 Kese kable rawali ya yosh tegi na shini kable rawadigi logyun tuntu gores.
And so far I've been talking about magnetic fields making currents. Technically, it's a changing magnetic field that makes a voltage.
Tang anjugirwa thandabadi kalore kable rawegi logyun tungures le keshe dereswa. Inaya tunda ngone deliyata somayina. 아니 gyurishimbe kable rawajigi 아니 welse chungures kense.
So that voltage that voltage can then make a current. So sometimes we're sloppy and we say magnetic fields make currents.
다 tanda do sumana 아니 welse digi logyun yungures di ngazo samsam 아니 kaptu kharlayo labena 아니 kable rawegi gyurishimbe kable rawadigi 아니 로균 중교레스 라교레스 켄스베 온데.
When we are being precise, we say a changing magnetic field creates a voltage.
따르와 내주 차상지 던다 뎀바당 던다도 튠바시에베이나 아니 귤심베 카블레라와시기 와 귤심베 카블레라와시기 웰체 중교레스 라교레스 켄스베 던다 ngoy 내주디 갈라베나 귤심베 kable rawashigi welche tungures. Tadi kabduji maimba wa shugliya tende adoch. So there have like a little bit of confusion in the word.
Okay, so can you describe can they describe the confusion?
Yeah, so they were saying as you mentioned before, the magnetic field create current, but now we're saying the changing magnetic field create voltage. So they're saying if it is same or not.
So the magnetic field has to be changing in order to create a voltage. So if the magnetic field is just sitting there and it's not changing, it's still, then there will be no voltage created.
Tadidirwa nesu tunda du songwaina ninji minji kabling rawadi gugyo tangde gonda gyot jode go chikenswe gyo marowena ani welsete tuntu mareswa kisi gyo droshin bajigewena ani welsete dungres oya.
And the voltage, of course, we know that the voltage can create a current if it's hooked up to a wire.
다 yang anjogiro welche yoga jamgirigo mares logyo yongyalia welche deang logyo jiglang ebardo tugo gores di nenga jo ha kogo baru waswa welche yoga jamgirigo ma pensation anjo lomen ro sha na digo mara ya de logyo de tu chene shini logyo ndu do logyo yong do da onde layer.
So if I were to have a wire I don't know how well you can see the,
Yeah, wait, a little bit.
let me,
Yeah, blurred one, your background.
there we go. This will help.
Yes.
Okay, so here is a wire. And if I were to pretend like this is a magnet, I could just hold it in here and nothing would happen. If I were to move it, then I could create a current in here.
Okay. Ta pensation gela gi lokish ten so wa. Right? Loki di ten ben jene dus jene te gela gi danda mixi gi pak bas do. Di khablen gi bi kulches. Keswe. Majo loki dus jene ju jene di nanglo ya khablen di dus sha we na. Ani di nanglo ya logyun chun tu ge mares. Keswe. Yimbe na ya kisi ngajo khablen di guyo da ya go zo we na. Ani shini di nanglo ya weche chun ge res. Keswe. Yeah.
Yeah, so nothing happens like this, no current. And then like this, I get a voltage and the voltage makes a current.
다 제가 내가 침바지 갈라나 단다 땡기 쉬워나 시디 구교 마당 왜나 개고 주는 거면 와 구교 당성 왜나 디낭로리에 외체 지은 거를 외체 디게이션 에너로 요인 거레스 켄세.
Okay, let me share screen. There we go. So this is what it looks like. And if you take this magnet and you push it inside this coil, these loops of wire, you will find that you get a voltage here, and that voltage makes a current.
다 내려로 스트레스와 때들이야 그버지 셔게 먹고 싶어. 지금 먹고 싶어. 딜이 옆에 뒤디 거와도도 외체 제체기 단다 되게 그래서 취재들 지지로. 디낭로리 양은 카블렌 싶어. 디 카블렌디 두스 야마 야 나로 주마 때 야 나로 주 두스 그교 땅 왜이메나. 아니 디낭로리야 외체 지용 외체 디 겐기 아니 로균 지용 거레스. 안디 취재 디낭로리야 외체 가져 시기메 샤토요.
So my question is, how do you think I could increase the amount of voltage I get?
다 gelaliya chiwajiges right cancel chiwaji kharilabana dinangliya weche di mangro tanga ye chetung ga tapshi khari yor samgodos dinanglo weche chitung wa 장다 비슷한 tap시 나 뭐야
구교 망으로 땅 거리서 디 짝합된디
kablen di yor tanga iswera. So if we if we move the magnet faster.
Yes, yes. What else?
셴바 탑시 가리오르스. 탑시 찍 디드르도.
균 망원 땅나기
알레. If we increase the number of coils here,
Yes.
the wire. 셴바?
There's one more way.
셴바 예베. 아. 고슈 총으로 땅에 왜? If we 왜? 고슈 왜? 안에 들림. 아, 말이 dinanglo yang azu weche jiong wana logyung mang yorwa. But the logyung di mang da yang azu tapshi khari yores no. Kable mang do tang na. Okay, so if we have more number of magnets here.
Yes, yes. Or I would say a bigger magnet.
Yang
Or a stronger magnet.
Kable shuk che ji venas. Shamba yebe numero.
Okay.
So I think that's it.
Okay, so this just illustrates what the motion looks like. So if you insert a magnet quickly into here, it changes the magnetic field. And you can see here that it shows that there is a voltage that is produced.
Tang azu dina yama gujo tang ya yurim di peri dina sig yores wa. Ta thangbo depend cha we na di tanda di khare loku kuti jimba ani de weche je gi chuji dale kar do. Tang azu khablen gi di dina yama ya biya tang ma biya tang dus che be na. Henswe 디 추저디긴 다디 거치도 파드스 파도에 도와 끼마디 가면 도와 디 인디 디 추저디 가르던 거 디낭을 외체지 중국에 버튼 거래스.
So on the second one, there is no motion of the magnet. There's no changing magnetic field. So there's no voltage that is induced here. There's no voltage here.
다 리모니우스 디 당고 디셔서 니와 디 데델테베나 디 간저 카블렌디 구기 당겨 말에 랑살을 샤요래 켄세 다나신 델레 카블렌디 구기 당겨 말에 카블렌디 구기 마당 때네 디 카블렌 라와들이야 믹스 요티브기 메벤장 디 나랑이야 외체지게 튼투게 말에 디 때인디 가져샤 컵도 되도와 다디 컵도 되도에 다디 컵도 되는 로고 레고래 켄세 디 인디 디 나랑이야 아니 간저 단다 외체지 튼투게 말에.
And then on this last one, the magnet is being pulled out of the coil. And so the magnetic field is changing on this one because it's being pulled out, and you can see the voltage as a result here.
다 당보디야 쭉수와 니버디 델 샤브레 숨바디 마템바이나 켄스웨 마템바이나 양디 웹체 제지 다디 가르쳐도 수용도와 레골레 수용도와 디 디낭lal이야 양제고네 가르쳐라나 웹체지에 주토요레스.
Okay. Hold on one second. I need to look at the English because I was looking at the Tibetan, so I need to pull up the English. All right.
Have to be multitasking.
Yes. Okay, so the amount of voltage that you get increases when you increase the number of coils. And it decreases when you decrease the number of coils.
Number of coils, right?
Yeah, the number of turns for the wire.
Okay. 당한서 단기 쉬분한시 계신 간소이로와 단기 급이 샤이교시도와 디 나로기 급이 지세지요 말베 딱 한데 장가 가지고 지요베나 디 용으로 땅 거이나 외체데 용으로 두고레스 켄스웨 아니 지구기 장세디 빠르이나 아니 외체데양 파르게레스.
So we say that the magnetic field is proportional to the number of turns or of wraps, of loops.
디 당한서이 가르치기 열라나 완전히 단다 sorry, can you repeat the point? I lost the first sentence.
Yes, so when you increase the number of loops, it increases the current. When you decrease it, it decreases the current. And so we say that the magnetic field is proportional to the number of loops. Or, I'm sorry, that the current is proportional to the number of loops.
Okay, so that's what. That ngazogi tangi kubegi ti changadi mang tangwana weche mang duglaswa. Ani danshi nyong tangwana nyong duglasa. Dile di dine den dale shi chani ngar khar ngazo khare shudu la baina. Ani tanda logyun jiwa. Logyun di ani kubegi ti chang ta 태갈 jawa yores. Kesa tentel kubegi ti chang la khare. Chigor khazu yaime kora khazu yaime kesa khazu chula yaime dale ya 태갈 jawa yores. Kesa 로규인디 아니 로규기 지창 캔슬에 델리아 제와이레스 태갈 that's yes sorry.
Okay. So we've been talking so far about whether this changing magnetic field makes a voltage or makes a current, and sometimes people will use those things interchangeably. And the reason is because the voltage creates the current.
So you mean we use the voltage and the current interchangeably?
No, let me see. Sometimes instead of, so, okay, never mind. I'll try it like this. Okay, so the changing magnetic field creates a voltage, and that voltage then makes the current.
Okay. Tadi tanda derangzare. The chezang tangi kable rawa di gyurshimbi kable rawa jiyobe na 유어당 유어 드레싱 비카블레 라와 지요베나 디나올리아 외체 지용고라서 외체 델라테네 로규 용고요레스라 요레스 켄세
And you probably remember from before Ohm's law. And Ohm's law tells you that how much current you get depends on how much voltage you make.
다 딩은이 가서 옴스로기 땡팀나 동다 옴스게 땡팀나 따임바 아야 옴스게 땡팀세 딩냠지 팅게돼 옴스게 땡팀리 야다 쳔닝 가서 카레하고 그리라면나 외체 가지시기와 대치기 아니 로교 용어요 온데리아 태가 저와요 대치 하고 그래스
And it also, the current also depends on how much resistance is in the wire.
다나시 로규 낭로리아 본다 다나시 로규 코란디 아니 단다 로규 낭로리아 아니 고슈 가지시기 메들이야 라리에 왔대 요레스
Are there any questions so far?
다 치와 예배 단다들 저와 여기 다들 뭐 드세요 Okay, it seems they don't have question now.
Okay. Have they covered this before?
Yeah, we did a little yeah, we were like we covered this one a little bit.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I'm trying to talk to them instead of talking to you, and it's harder on Zoom to do that than it is when I'm in person, because on my screen I usually see you. You can let them know if they're wondering what I'm saying. You can let them know that I was just saying that, but
Maksud dia le district club sebenarnya sengi district club songs lain terus. Di lot sen district tiswa asing mundi.
in physics, we know that we don't usually get anything for free. Things don't come for, yeah, we don't get things for free.
ता ngazui ngam seri nang lo le khare ban ne chu khare ro chung yo ben na ngazui le khare thop yo ben di rime chine thop sha ji mares ena thonda theme ke me ro chi chine ro yong sha yo ji mares.
So if we're getting a current from moving a magnet, chances are that the movement of the magnet will be harder if we want to get more current. There will be resistance to the movement.
다 ngazui ki thanda khablen khorang bu yo tang chine ane lo gyu ji chen tu yo be na ro lo gyu mang ro tang ge che tu ane ngazui khablen tang ngazui khablen gyu ne lo gyu chen gu ro khablen bu yo tang ne ta ina yang khablen khasa khablen di gyu ne lo gyu mang ro chi ya le ya khade na gok shu ji yo yo res kenswe.
So we could push lightly on a magnet through one coil, and it wouldn't feel very difficult to do.
다 ngazui pencha sha ba na ane lo gyu ro de mas na chi gyu de ngazui ane thanda khablen gu yo tang tu res dirwa digas ke kale yo bares lo gyu chi gyu ni che yin ba na kenswe.
But if we had lots and lots of loops, lots and lots of coils, then it would be a lot harder to push that magnet through.
다 pencha sha na ngazui gyu ji mang bu shu ji ba na kenswe gyu ji chang par so ni mang bu shu ji na di nang la yang ngazui gi ane thanda khablen gu yo tang ya di kale yung res de kha yung res oh yeah. Yes.
All right, 1 second. I'm going back to the English. Okay, I think I might.
Okay.
So if you go,
Okay. Can I ask you one question?
yes, yep.
None has a question. So she's asking why the increase in the loop creates some resistance or difficulty in moving the magnet.
So the reason why that is because the current that is induced in the wire, when the current starts flowing, it creates a magnetic field that pushes back on the magnet.
Okay. 다 가진 rel라 맨날 와. 로그 그지 가지시마 유와 데스기 디 구겨 당야 깔래 가요 같이 라베나 किसी दी तना ngaju khable di dinang le yama guyo tang yong di dinang le ya ani ngaju login ji tingor wa login di tri yong we na login di khorang le ya ten chene ya khable rawa ji tingor res kese di khable rawa di tri song wa na phajo de ya bigya tang ya ro chiksu wa bigya tang la ne ta khang dar khagro tang ya ji wa shirang ye shuken sti gores oh yeah yes
Okay, so is that clear now?
yeah this one okay yeah it's clarified.
Okay, so my next question is, do you think that it matters whether I move the magnet inside the coils here, or if I rest the magnet and move this over the magnet? Does it matter which one is doing the moving?
Okay. Then they did two other two other. Two other lam the Gelay, then the pension on to Delia could be goodish to a. Did Delia Shachene, Anning on to Kable Yamaguyo Tangada, Yanani, Kable Della Shachene, Kuji Yamaguyo Tanga, Chazan, Korani Kagi, Guyo Tanga, the Kebar Sugar Chinga to West. Chazan Kebar Dojo Sugar Chinga to West. Coba dulu mana sambut. Cepat deh sambut deh. Login coba deh. Okay, so they're saying that it will be same, like the fundamental or the the final result will be current induction in this wire.
Yes.
There won't be much difference in terms of movement.
Okay, great. Yes. So it doesn't matter how or why the magnetic field is changing inside the wire. All that matters is that there is a changing magnetic field inside the wires.
아니 그래서 라교도 달아 레스와. 진짜 당간줄 내일이야 로교 용거에 네 가르 로교 용야리야 차게로도 마스나 가르창고 올라도 니기 카블레 라와디 구교당 올라서. 진짜 카블레 라와들이야 요당 구요디 뭔가 요도 고르스와서. 카블레 라와디 요도야리야 카블레 코랑 부게당네 요당 와이나레 야나네 로그 구교당 진에 카블레 라와리야 요당 와이나 케바리 연구 말했어. 캔스웨. 오야. Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing for a moment because I want to think about a new situation that I'm going to draw.
Sure.
And go ahead.
Yeah, gela sawash te ndirwa digang le gela khorangi ene nedang sawash te ne gela dishish te instrwa.
Okay, so I'm going to draw a little circuit here. And I think you all know a little bit about the circuits from previous lectures.
Ta gela idele yarwa loglam chinjish tigi ins wa circuit lan khare loglam chinjish tigi ins ani gela anle kharan su jindang ngama dele ya chola ten chene ene loglam gi gol ya yunga tos yor sam gudus wa. Yes.
Okay, so this is my picture of a circuit with a light bulb. And if I have this circuit and there's a current in here, there is going to be a magnetic field that is either coming into or pointing out of the page.
Okay. Tanganje wa di gelagi shedo yungege ene loglam jigin swa. Ta di nanglalia logyu yongwe kapsu di thalaya khable rawas tungures. Keswe khable rawas tungures. Di khable rawadi yangnani ani ta gelai khorang ki tensha gi dela shuro sto ta kanda ka sto ngele ble di cho chigla du yore yanani cho shimba dela gyun dugures. Kese khable rawagi khachodi. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when we first met, when we first started talking, we talked about how currents make magnetic fields. And then I asked if magnetic fields make currents.
다 맞은 당보전도 고수 연장 맞은 내리지 카르라베나 아니 로귤리아 텐션에 아니 카블렌 자와퉁고레스 라요레스 this way 로귤라 텐션에 카블레 라와퉁고레스 디 젤 양이 지와 할당 열라나 카블레 라왈 야튼 신에 로균 튼투 그레베세 지와 시당 요스.
And we found that only when the magnetic field is changing do we end up with a current.
땅 맞아 가려 하고 열라나 다나 신이 된지 가려 열라나 카블레 라와들이야 요 주고 여베나. 드네 신이 아니 로균 튼투 요 하고 그레스.
So if I were to take another wire and put it on top of this light bulb, then there would be, and just rested it on top of this circuit, there would be no changing magnetic field inside the wire.
Have you drawn it, or I'm just going to explain?
No, okay, I can draw it. I can,
Sorry, thank you.
nope, I can make a wire here, and I'll put a voltmeter right here to see if there's a current. This means is there a current here? Or is there a voltage here?
딱 내단 심바지로와 기시 로기 사바지 키니용 친으로와 디강리야 따 아니 디디 단당한 수탕기 외체지에 취재지와 델리야 체송와이나 아니 따 델리야 아니 유와 마도 이행기 델리야 아니 간주 외체 용부 여르베스 보세요. So I think the first part where I'm a little confused here, like where did you put the wire on the bulb or?
Okay, so first I'm saying there's a circuit right here, and there is a light bulb, and there's a direct current going through here, but it's creating a magnetic field, but that magnetic field is not changing. So that's the first thing I say.
Okay. The delia tangba delia gas gelai dela loglam chidwa. Di loglam din nanglia lo gyu cause lo gyu lia tencheni kable rawaji yungur waswa. The delia shasha when the kable rawad gyu du mares. Kenswe kable rawad gyu du mares. The shasha when the gyu che madan shavena. The delia gelai kar kyure ani ganso welche je chujedi. Delia shache di ka lo gyu ros tudwa ine di call to yim tandala maswa. Yeah.
So I can take this wire, and if I place it nearby on top of this, if I place it a little bit above this, and I just kind of rest it there, just hold it there, there's no changing magnetic field through it. So there will be no induced voltage in it.
Oh, okay. That delia has a treasure to do. Di change, we change treasure the derwa. The gala di key chinirwa, di ganglia shavina. Kenswe, di ganglia shavina, di nanglia logyung gitrin shabe, kabling girawadelia, you are meba songzang, and di nanglia we change yungumares. This way, yongswe, Tandakosuse. Oh, yeah. Yes.
But if I were to change this so that there was an alternating current, then the alternating current would make a changing magnetic field inside of here. And then if I brought this other loop on top of it, there would be a changing magnetic field inside of it.
I think you like moving or like driving something on over something, because we can't see anything changing on the screen. I'm not sure.
Oh, I was just using this as a pointer. So
I can't see the pointer too. Can you, is there any way to change the pointer color, or just, can you move the pointer once again?
Oh, okay. Let's see. No, let's see.
How much call? Get remove the and zoom do ngat ngat tong mendwa. The engineer call lane ko se.
I can do it without. Okay, so on the left-hand side, the light bulb, if I were to make an alternating current in that circuit, it would create a changing magnetic field.
Okay.
And then when I place the other loop on top, there would be a changing magnetic field through the middle of that.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. The dinang lo tangin ngani nganzu delia kaptu khariyore lomen tuyurwa. Lomen tuyude lo di gyug di yorwa. Ani tegu gidire. Ta tanda nganzu delia pegu se chingidwe. Pegu lo gyubina. 아니 디 배규 길로 규발라 때네 가르치 규발라디 당기 카블레 라와델이야 규어스 두그레스 켄스웨 카블레 라와델이야 규어 두그레스 아나시 디 추제 지와 당기 디 디키온체 델 샤베이나 아니 가르치 samgudos saying if we put the second wire on the first one after doing the after connecting the voltage detecting in that.
Yes, so I'm sorry, did they have is there a question or?
No, they're saying that there will be voltage being detected.
Yes, exactly. So even though there's no magnet, there's still a changing magnetic field, and that's making a voltage.
ता हजुर दिनाउनलिया ता दिनाउनले mana खले खरा यो मरवा वा यमे न खले मे न खले रवा स्ट्रिन थोसु ने रवा दिलिया युएस ता थोसु वास हजुर वेचे जिरा यो रेस न खले मिन्दुवा
Okay. All right. So. So this slide summarizes what we just talked about. We can move the loop near a magnet, we can move a magnet near a loop, or we could change the current in a nearby loop.
땅 안서 단어가 시겨 도 죽음 개베나 디나올리야 차상 디요레스 되도에 카레샤 खबले रवाले या युवा तंग बुगरेस वा खबले रवा युवा तंग तले या खरे लदी आलों ते खबले नीचे सुगुक्यो तोवा कैसे खबले ते आलों की नीचे सुगुक्यो तोवा आनी नीचे की आलों नंगी लोग्यो ला युवा तंग कैसे ता थंदा बद दुर्दी शे सोमन के शे के नेदे सांगमरो छोदम यावे ना दिनांग योरेस छसा कैसे oh yeah
Okay. So let's try this question.
ता दिंगा जो छुआ दिलिया अगिंदा स्वा oh yeah छुआ दिखाला ना 지구도 카블레 시달 슈기 쭉바이나 외체 마와 쥐남 켄스웨 다 먼저 그바 지구 저와 디낭라리야 아니 먼저 카블레 지 쥐당 저 말베 근데 유체 가져 시쭉바이나 아니 외체 마와 그레스 요거 주고에나 용거래 대워 주고에나 야나 요거데 대원이가 용거래 야나 요거데 대원이가 용거 말했어 so most of them are showing A.
Oh, perfect. Yes, that is correct. Or anyone who didn't think A, are there questions about that?
아니, sempat dia jawab itu cuma iwe. Le matamnya dah dijual cuma iwe. Yes. Okay. Someone answered A or chose A, but still she has a question. Okay, Linda.
Tanang kena kupara mangdo tina ane logi mangdo doire chik ngala sunsar so. Yang chiso karchana kupa mangdo tina ane karchana logi nyundo doire karchana gokien gosu chagire do chik sunso. Geta to thongso.
So di tanda logi kazu manga dia chugi.
Mangdo tiwa ina yang
dia chugi.
ane logi mawa drotu.
Yungres sixwa. Ni badi.
Ni pada ane logi kuti kazu mangna thukpa tiwa ina ane logi nyuwa karchana legend ba nyuwa wolte nyuwa sotugire la sa legend wolte nyuwa ina logi nyuwa yongge we kyaprada.
Tadi college khara kala khichige wa hakoswe. Hanang anju tanda khable yamagu yudang budwa. Khable yamagu yudang ala ya college resla lo. Hinengi khana khichiwa di pharan ju jurwa. So she's asking it was mentioned in one of the previously that even though we are saying that when there's increase in the number of coils, there will be increase in the current. But there was mentioned that the number of coils, more the number of coils, they'll be more resistant for the current.
Oh, yes. Yes, and so it would be harder to push. And if you do slow down the push, then you're going to get less current out if you don't push it as fast. So you'll go to push it and it'll be harder to push. So you have to push harder to maintain the same speed. But if the speed slows down, then there will be less current induced.
Tadi di cik di orang serba ini yang maksud dia ya tanda loki kacu semua ya dia cik kalau kita yang gozu gore kabel bugi biaya tanya ya kali mana yang gores kenswe ini yang kabel biaya tanya di shuk dan nyam tu sini joko kacu cik biaya tang tu na dia cik ani loki mana tuin tu gores kisi tewo sini tuin biaya tang mana nanglo ya ani loki nyong yang gores dia ni kira ni shuk mana setiap nyam tu joko yang cik gores kenswe oh iya no that's all. Someone, we have another question, so.
Daging kala teju kilo lam chisura. Anti kala ani de weze jeje ki ani tuje de kina la ko de juwa tu mari jila so lo yuntung maris. Anti piju kilo lam tu juni anti kare weze jeje de kito na ani ko lo ka lo yuntung gre la. Ani tanggu di karsa teju kilo dia ra teju kilo dina la di jwa de la ku jwa de la ko jwa ina la karchen lo yuntung. Karchen lo yuntung mari la.
Ale di tangi land di tangi cik shui ini ngi tuat tang shao lah. So in the picture or the circuit drawing that you did, in the first case, I think when you connect to the battery, it's a direct current. But then when you change it and have an AC there, electric current, I mean alternative current there, in the first case, why don't we get voltage, and in the second case, why do we get voltage?
Okay, so in the first case, you don't get voltage because it doesn't make a changing magnetic field. With direct current, you only will get a constant magnetic field.
Tadi kacan lawe na, tanda teju imba ina, teju kapsu pajolia login gitumbe kable rawa jiwe, rawa. Di kable rawa dale juwa duwe manes. Kese peju imba ina, ani peju di nanglolia ani kable rawa dale juwa duwe res. Kable rawa dale juwa duwe di ngansu wese tuntu wa. Desiwe. Oh yeah.
So you only get a voltage if the magnetic field is changing.
자 카블랭 기라와 디 주어 주주나 신이 아니 간솔이야 신이 외체라 그랬어. Yeah.
Is that okay?
This way. Yeah.
Okay. So it turns out that this phenomenon is incredibly useful for generating power.
다 간조기로와 단기 통나주로와 벤차시나 간조기 카블레라와 야마 카블레라와리야 요왔당 치는 로균 준토에지메 디 있는 간조 메제 나올리야 침 주어지. Yeah.
Okay, so this physics law allows us to generate electricity in power plants to bring electricity to houses.
아니, 나디기 텐침 땅은 감 텐침 지어와, 감기 텐침 아니 델리아 텐션에 아니 간기 캉베 단다 당아저 로니로와 다 로니 간저 캉스 캉베 나리아 로준 지용드레스. 그래서
And we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about that. Okay, so how much electricity, well, never mind, let me start over. Okay, so one thing we can do to get electricity is to create a magnetic field in a diagram, in a situation like this diagram, which I will explain in a second.
딱 때리될 때 맨날 내가 내려 지는 간주이 탄다 로균 주의하려와 아니 칼로레 탑시로는 맞는 가려려나 탄다 내가 내려 비리스도와 결에 제시경이지 내 비리 내려 지강이야 아니 간주기 탄다 아니 카블랭기라와 준투베이나 언제 직차열했어 로균 주의 탑시
So all of these blue dots represent a magnetic field that is pointing towards you.
다 디 가서 틱 모봉 보르시도아 제기 숨다 딘저 상매 가르친 게 열라나 아니 간쪽이 카블레 로기 건다 카블레 라웨기 카블레 라와체 카블레 라웨 카조 대양 가라주 초리야 추 된데야 지금 거레스 계속 추 카조 대야 지금 거레스.
And then if you look, there is also a closed loop here where if you start over here and you go all the way around, it is a loop of wire.
하나씩 데려 양아지 로티지어레스와 로기 로티지 데려야 튀게 진도치 안도시야 용체 디파트랑 작은 수용돼 로기지가 요레스.
And even though there's a contact, metal contact here and here, this top part is free to rotate. So you can spin a crank here and this top part will spin around.
땅에서 데려야 투삼이도아 데려 튀게서 지금 데려 튀게서 시도해. 디 투삼이 여비는 디 차시 디조초 차시 지금 디조초 차시 시도아 디 단도에 내가 꼬라기야사기 사주도 요레스. 그래서 왜 코르도 요레스. 그래서 왜 니 튀게 여비는 디 사주디 아니 맞아 코르도 요레스라. 얘네 디 사주디 오늘 다 사주디 건다 꼬라기야 두레스. Yes.
Okay. So what you can do here is you can crank this, you can spin it with your hand, and when you spin it, you actually change the magnetic field through the wire.
딱 먼저 쥐. 1 second, sorry, there's a technical problem, little bit of problem here. This way. Okay, I think we can continue. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so we have these, I'm getting some feedback now from the mic. Is there a way?
Pardon?
I'm hearing my voice echoed back to me.
Oh, gila gets parang so good sa. Chaksa do good. Chaksa do good. Chaksa good sa gila parang ke.
I'm just going to keep talking to see if it's still happening.
Sure.
Yeah, it is. It's not as, maybe it's not too bad.
Okay. Do you think it's okay to carry on or?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll keep going. I'm gonna lower the volume on this side, so maybe I don't hear it as high. Okay, so,
Thank you.
Okay, so on this bottom image right here, you have the blue is the magnetic field pointing towards you. And then you have a crank that you can turn. And then there's also this closed loop here. And I'll explain what's going to happen in a second.
Tadi tangi sashi manzogi ane kabling grawa nganzo la kajo gyurte kyense ngana chole ya chote je and ona sindele ya loku shtu waswa ane loku di chashe ni di ni tu ya na di kora ga tu laswa tadi di tangi lo ma she ni karche la na di kora ga na di kora ga sondi nganzo karchi yo la di dinang la ya kabling rawa je yorbe kabling rawa de ya nganzo gyo tang yores kyense yes.
Okay, so what ends up happening when you turn this is you get a changing magnetic field. And the way that happens is when it's in this position, if you were to count the magnetic field dots that go through here, you could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
당아서 될이야. 근데 어떻게 레레레기 갑레라와 레레레 친구여봐. 아니 갑레라와 레레레 집이나 가지도 제 솜싱아 주드게 구주도아스 데라. 현세.
And then when you flip it over, this circular part would come down through these two. So then inside the loop, you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
당아서 디 꼬바시면 돼. 로케디 두스 꼬라게 두르더라. 마 카조 로요베나 두스 꼬라게 신 델라 리요베나. 아니 가지고 로케 디기 차시디 거의 용거를 델라 용거로 와. 디처럼 연디가 없어 디나 양가지고 가지도스. 주마시요 말했어. Kense, the moti di tangazerlo. Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, so as you crank this, you actually induce a voltage and get a current through this wire.
Tangazo di chula yerwa, di skora yerwa, di kora yewe kapsu, andi nanglo ya tanda kabling rawa de la yuwastro, di kable rawa ya yuwa do kengi nganzo weche jitu, weche di tun be kengi, ene di loku di nanglo ya, ane lo yun jingu yores.
And so this is one way that you can take mechanical energy from rotating the crank, and turn it into electrical energy.
Mechanical energy is gushu niba. Gushu niba di peje tang chini loni jun tu yores.
Whenever you design a system to convert this mechanical energy into electrical energy, it's called a generator.
당아서 너도 쉐베나 계승아 구슈리과 배제 당치네 구슈 니바 배제 당치네 로니 중교 여비나 델이야 아니 간조 로니 준체스란다 요레스 로니 준체스야데 제너레이터 세트 켄세 로그 니바 주에기 체도 일락차를 주와 요체스야데
Are there any questions?
주의왜 Yes 안가마 치와 I think one question.
야나 디 오제마토 나 lokju마토 케시서 어디 젤라데 제니터 케레라서 데 간조 남기 베주 당한데 데 라고요래 아니 어디 나라 가리코르 자고요 간조 남기니 디 낭로라 가리코르제
Ale, okay. So we were told that when we turn this wire, it will generate the voltage in it because of change in the magnetic field. And then she's wondering if this is the same as the generator that are using in our daily life. And if so, what is being turned or spin in that generator?
Okay. So probably, yes. So it depends a little bit on what kind of generator that you have, but most likely yes. So that is, and we're actually going to talk about that in the next couple of slides. We're going to talk about how about kind of the source of that cranking. So, yeah.
Ta kalore len kapdura ma jasine shebena dirang reswa namgyu nang shi gyundengi ene ngzu tanda loni chunche special nge wa generator special nge di gyundang de de ro yongyo res ine ngzu gi di walia tosle di nang la ya ge lo den sa khorangi chunggung jerwa 콩 되는 신에 에너지 받은 거저 간데 신고에 디 꼴이야 거저 시 연구레스 됐어 아니 중산이 진에 낭 받을 로 간데 신고에 거저 시 연구레스 yes
it would be a lot easier to if we could find something that would naturally crank this for us, so we didn't have to have lots and lots of people sitting and cranking all day.
당아 저들와 디 꼬레게리아 코라코라 랑중이 꼬레게 직서토베나 안 배틀레라 용으로 왔으라 쟤네 셴바 미직 치도나 니마다가 미 용고 거래야 미 망부지 춘치고 거래스 딜레장 아니 수수수랑 신기 오토매틱 꼬레게 투에지 용고요베나 요 서토베나 아니 레라 용고레스 yes
we in power plants usually they use steam to blow a fan and make it rotate.
당한서 단다 파워 플랜트 그래 로든 사치그래 로 당부 총서 사치지와 디레 디나올라 양아서 카르페스탄 게라 디 랑바 베지 당전에 디 꼬라 게겨레스 디 꼬라 게디 당고 시원나 신간서 탄다 디기 쇼바 당신 지겨라 바 터번 세지 디 꼬라 게치네 에능간서 디 탄다 로균 중겨레스 데스웨 디 꼬라 게디라
Okay.
yeah
so this one is a little bit more complicated, but it's the same idea. It's still a generator.
da dite singonyo sayo레스 이네 야 네도 닝부디 이거레스 디 칼라나 로뉴 춘지 yeah
Okay. So I want to explain how this works. This is a horseshoe magnet, and you can think of the horseshoe magnet as having a north and a south, and it's as if the magnetic field, you can think of it as almost like as raindrops dropping down through here.
okay so the upper part is south pole or this one
It doesn't matter really which way is north and which way is south. The point is that the magnetic field lines go up and down through
okay.
here, like almost like raindrops.
okay okay 아니 다 디낭올리야로와 디 낭부 친구시도와 디디 칼라베다 먼저 단다 horseshoe는 카라 로이는 지금다 따미기와 따기 깡바이와 디기 입로지레도와 미과레로와 따이 미과 미gra tadi ibroji ngegi ane nganzo kablen chayores kenswe tadi khara ha ko la bana dil ya sha yundi di paru tongcha shtwe di paru tongcha shtwa dil ya ane nganzo gi thanda khorangi trin sha gyogi ane kablen gi rawadi ya ma gyugu yawadi semdange gures kenswe yes
So if you look at how this is set up, you have someone also cranking this, and as they're cranking it, this piece in the middle turns, and when it is flat, all the magnetic field goes through it, and when it's up and down, it's like the raindrops don't go through it at all.
tadi dele kore gedoa di kore geswe dine kore gavena dile ya chakiroshtwe seoshtwa di kore gegres kese di sama kore geirwa kore gavena kharchi yore didale ya thagi khable rawa ya mar yor laswa dele ya jowash tu yorwa tadi di gela iperje kharsha yor na pensation chawa tang dewe na dinang le yang chi kore gavena chawa dele ya charti de zole ya khechine jowash durwe chawa dostang dewe che dinang le yang chi kore gavena cha rojim banere kande chadu roj kore gavena di chawa tang de yogi khacho dele yo durwe chati gaali chi kheswa na go yodang garwa wonden ro chagores. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to explain this a little bit using my hands. So if you have a horseshoe magnet that looks kind of like this, and you have that thing that was turning that was in here, when it's like this, lots of magnetic field lines goes through here. But when you turn it like this, the raindrops don't really go through the middle at all.
Show you. Okay. Tangos depends on the gallery. Lagod pisang chinero. Dishe yabina. Kense. Di. Manzo kare. Kablen de imbichesh. Kense. Di. Ani charge to atangi charge level to di imbecheshwa. Dus ta wake up so kablen manga do to was. Ta dus shevena. Kablen yunga do was. Chikoji yang chawa dojim batange wena. Dus shevena dingwe de chawa manga keche. Dus shevena chawa yunga ke do was. Kense. Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So now you have a changing magnetic field inside that loop.
Chasa ta tangi lokish to kuji dos to tangi seudi yang jago ne semna shar to chelo. Dus nga zokora jayon di kharchi gelana di na ngoliya log khasal khable rawa delia yosh do duas. Kenswe. Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen again. Okay, so let's talk about this a little more. We have somebody that's cranking this, and so the crank is rotating this closed loop, and so you have a changing magnetic field through that loop that is inducing a voltage, which makes that current.
Tangan tangi show na shire pege delia delia dinanglia kubaji bache lokuji bache delia miji guyang dwa di guyang so di dinanglia di guyang di kora jawala tene di nanglia tande korang welia khigi begi ani khable rawa delia yosh to dwas di khable rawalia yor de chen weche jingore weche delia shuken state and ganzo tande logyun jingurwa andi lod bargiores kense yes.
And if you think about it, you'll realize that if you're not careful about what's going on right here, that the wires will get all twisted and tangled. So we have to do something to fix that.
Angan su chik samlo khartang gola na kese ngade sabsa mache wena dele ya lungkyu changma chule ya chine khare nya ga yores kese ngajo kora ya na dele ya lungkyu ma churwe rwe rwa chure ya ndi dele ya lungkyu chu chine ene dele ya khare nya ga jore dele ya kese yes.
And all we really have to do is put little metal brushes here, like little toothbrush bristles that are metal, and then they're in contact here, but as it rotates, it doesn't tangle the wires.
Okay. Tangan dele ya tapsi setup rose tabde jikari yorla benda dele ya nganzu tanda cha khona yuse sha yogi nganzu tanda soju ki soju wa cha tabra jiwa soju gi chebna sa tabra sto dinde ro ina ba chine dele ya chinji de zu dinde zu yondi ko kora ja yondi di nganzu kora ja yondi di cha ku de ga ke yores ina ya nganzu dus kora ja wali ya ten chin di cha ku de tanda khasa soju gi so nang shingi cha dele ya khewal ten chine ani khonju chula ma kyoye chi an ro tu yores kense ta dele ya tapshe ro dire kange de chesona dele ya tapshe dire yes.
So this should look a lot like the motor that you would have studied already. Does this look familiar like a motor?
Ta nganzu chik chinarwa tanda logo chuche se jwa kera jungge jang yu logo chuche da daw tung du bes logo chuche se the motor se jwa di daw tung du bes ngene jang yu dong shi logo chuche se daw tung du they're saying that some of them saying yeah it looks like a motor.
Yeah. So the motor works in the opposite way, but the way you set it up is similar. You have a battery on one side and something that spins on the other side.
Ta loge chuchi dirwa kaba dojora anzu dikdang je marwe logul chuche de lo di khara loni chunche ro di loni chunche che shamba di khara logul chuche oya logul chuche digi kaba do di design do di chipo chagores dele yang anzu khare re shedo che ande ni pa yue che ina yang dele 독초 레슬라. 켄스웨. 독초디 가르쳐이래. 니네 진이 파이래야. 먼저 구슈니 버트에 지와. 딱 한달 제레디 독초래 이내야 꽤 찍고 차기래. Yes.
With a generator, you put in mechanical energy and you get out electricity or electric energy. And with a motor, you put in electric energy and you get out mechanical energy.
제레디 독초래다. 같이 일라나. 먼저 단다 로디 준체 낭로리야. 마 낭로리야 가지고 파 땅에 로디 카르당게 열라디 구슈니 바당게레스. 켄스웨. 구슈니 바당체니 맞을래 타바 가라고래 로라 요레스 계속해 이나양 로그 트지 모터 세스도와 로그 트지 나올이야 맞아 당원이네 로직 땅 로디 땅체네 엔타마들이야 맞아 구슈니 바라 요레스 제레 독서 샷스웨 어이 야
Are there any questions?
치워야 여기 치워 라우 단다들왜 알레 로고 주체다 도초 임바들왜 so they are still confused about the reverse action of motor and generator.
Sure. So a motor has a battery instead of a light bulb. So you start off with the battery and you get this to spin by connecting a battery.
Okay. The local churches say, motor said the local churches. Local churches because they are also carried to go and they are position on the shadow to do. In a local church, only a shadow is a carrier, low mage to go. Yes, low mage to chin and only a carrier. Logan Rua, Logan Russian Tamadele and the Logan the Nubel and the Dicora Yagu the Carlana, Annie Gushuri Pachayores, was a Gushu Nubachayores. Kenswe, Chazan, they are the Dosho Chayers. Just where. Yes.
Yeah, so with the motor, you start with the battery on the side, which is the electrical energy, and then the output ends up being mechanical. And with a generator, it's reversed, where you put in mechanical and what you get out is electrical.
Yeah. The Logan Trije Devina, Delian so Lomagixa, and the Nangalia, Logan Rochine, the Cora Japsin, Tamadelanzo Carayur Ladu, Gushuni Barayures. Yes, I did the part I had the Gushuni Bar, Gonda part I had the Lore, Lonure, so you are the Karasha, Gushuni Bares. Yes, where Inaya, Lone Trinche, the generator, the culture, the Pa Gushuni Batache, yes, where so Ananzolia, Lonura Yures. Yes, where yes.
Okay, and the way that these generators work, which actually you'll see more on the next slide, they naturally produce alternating current. So the way, because of the way that this turns, it doesn't produce direct current, it produces an alternating current.
Oh, okay. The Tanda Lodi Jinjiwa, generated Gilachi and never Chichi Karlavena. Generated Tanda Mazutanda Gushuri Pizitangene, and it gone the Gushuniba Pizitangene, was the Logan Stringua. Logan to you the Karchayana, Pigu Chayures, Kenswe, and it take you Chayu Maris. What in Negachamuchigre, Tadan Di Nangloria, Lachidan the Nanglogi. Kenswe. Yes.
Okay. So you get an alternating current from this rotation. So this is zoomed in of the previous picture. And this tells you how the current changes with time.
먼저 네 비리스도와 네 비리는 그 비리 뜻씩 추치하러 따온 남발에 캐스웨 네 거래 캐스웨 당고 도스레도와 안 도시아서와 아니 도시 용으로와 안 타마들 도시 용으로에 네네 네 체베나 네 가래 추적 구경한다레스 이나야 네 티그리시면데 네 티그리디 가르된 거라나 네 나올리아 로경 하네스 두에 받된 거레스 캐스웨 어야.
And what you can see here is that how many times the current changes per second, how many cycles it goes through each second, is the same as how many turns you crank the generator.
다 디나오야 단다 먼저 로그인 두르와 로그인 두 스마트 야지 마야지 세스트웨어 디 드래그 트레저와 트레 야나 데세저와 디디 아니 간저기 가르쳐요라디 아니 간저디 단다 트레저와 단기 꼬라게 트레저와 디 가저지 꼬라야 달아야 카 튕겨요레스 찍고 차요레스.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is going to be about electric power transmission. But before we do that, I want to talk over here is the power station. And I want to talk a little bit more about exactly how we get that power from the generator.
다 먼저 로
Sorry.
No worries. 다 텔리야 먼저 같이 해래. 다 리게 메데 셰 얘기는 스와 임바이나 야 딩엘이 안겔라게 로데 사치디콜이야 티싱망고체 아니 냠도 아니 탄다 로 뉴트리션 디기 첼레 칸데 치게메데 티식 14레긴스.
So if we go back up to this image, this is a simplified version of how a generator in a power plant works.
다 당기 디페리들이야 양게때 맨날와 당기 마게와 될이야 로든 사치시트웨 로든 사치 낭로리야 로니 준치기 첼레 치당 디파 레라우 슈즈 답데우 슈즈 치샤위기 넘버로지그레스 켄스웨.
So the difference is that instead of a person rotating this, what you do is you find a way to generate heat and this is supposed to be fire. You make fire here. You heat up this pot of water and it causes steam to rise. And instead of having a hand here, I kind of mentioned this before, you have this doesn't look much like a fan, but you have a really big fan. And so the steam turns the fan. It doesn't look like a fan.
Okay. So, 딱 아직 개발 디디 당기 베게 로든 사지기 나올로기 아니 로니 춘치기 첼레치당데 또스마 레로 슈즈 넘버 치셰교레라스와 이네 개발 치치 칼레베나 디나올리야 미지기 꼬라게 에도와 라 이나 양아즈 베게 나올레 가르치기올라디 당보델이야 메로지네레 딱 한다 트레 친구시 땅 캐스웨 디 메지 메친나 바시 디 강레야 추크 추디여베나 추델이야 메 땅웨나 같이 랑바 주르고와 라 랑바 주르디 델이야 안 롱고 친구 주레스 캐세 롱고 도와 롱고 친구 주레스 디 롱고 디 에니 디네기 트레샤 주 랑바 디 꼬라게 주레스 캐세 미지 꼬라게 모아체 한다 랑바 지 꼬라게 주레스 오야. Yes.
So there are different ways to heat this water. Depending on the power plant, some power plants might use coal, some power plants might use nuclear, but it doesn't matter what that source is. Most power plants will use some source like coal or nuclear to boil or to make steam from water.
다 디네 랑바 주레 유림 저와 탑시 라메라 용구로와 탑시 가리는 용시 카시 가르페스탄 거라 디 솔라 페스탄 거레스 솔라요 솔라 메 솔라 트레저 마라 디 페스탄 거레스 카시 뉴클리어 기 페스탄 거레스 뉴클리어 세디 먼저 칼레레 디둘레 디 강달 디 와 디단 다디 탑시당야 셴바직 차요 당에 디 귤네 탑시당 거와 계세 탑시디 따데 강달델야 트레저 용구로와 트레델레 탑시라메다 당겨 나바레 계세 오야. Yes.
So the water boils and it spins the fan, and instead of there being one coil here, there are lots and lots and lots of coils so that there can be a lot of voltage that is generated.
다 맞아 개발 치실직디 가르쳐 되네 야미 치모가 지네 랑바이 치기도 왔어 랑바디 치어마세 디 랑바디 꼬라 가서 데 꼬라게 디 룽고 지기요 제디 룽고 디 랑바디 꼬라게 개발 셴바지 가려라나 데려 꾸지 찍 자마임바 꾸지 망고 슈직 샤네 캔스웨 꾸지 데려 나 피리디나 찍 마시되면도 이내야 응어스 베게 로든 사질리아 드론 치네 베게 단다 로드 로니 춘치 달리 때송한데 데려 아니 로피 가서 그바 티바 제마레 딱 한달 망고 슈지여세 디요 망고 여할 때는 디나를 여 외제 패친 슈슈트인도 그랬어 괜찮아 yeah yeah sorry
Okay, are there any questions?
지워 이외 지워 드려 이외 아 추래 okay kamlo na generator ang so she's asking this way Tara. So one of nuns here is saying we have seen some putting some water in the generator. So is that the purpose of this one?
No. No, I'm not sure why you put the water in the generator, but the generator is probably a gasoline generator, and a gasoline generator will have pistons that will move to crank that. So the gasoline creates little explosions that will cause this to move.
So sorry, can you like briefly repeat that one? Because
yeah. So I don't know why you add water to your generator. Do you know, is it a gasoline generator?
아니 단다 추 가진 루밍에 하마스라 아니 generator 나올 gasoline 루가 되는 리베스 generator 디능 Nilo solar the dimarwani
Okay. Yeah.
no you chiwa jiwa dance tangi jiwa dinang ya peseshwa dinang la kamlo na chulu udle ba kamlo nang ya chulu ya di gasoline kamlo reves solar I think she confused with the generator with the solar. Sorry.
Okay. So solar works differently, and solar does not boil water. Solar gets electricity from electrons that from the sun, that the sun kind of creates the current. It's set up so that you can get a current directly from the sun, and it does not heat water like this.
Nilo dite siglo battery lembe generator lagor kamlo lana tamare control so nilo sto nilo nanglo la yang anzo wegi kalore nibaro je mare nibagi chungudi nimegi ene duchen chagores kenswe delia kasi dong anzo chu chausene di koragya chuswa di yung dine yungyo mares nilo de la yeah this way yeah okay thank you.
Yep.
I think
I will look up before tomorrow why you might add water. It might have to do with batteries to store the energy, but I'll look it up and I'll see if I can figure it out. But it shouldn't be the same process as this.
다 gelagiro 직진나 nge haku mesir khajala na kamlo nang le chulu yosi ribswa kizi chulu yobe na danda ya lome ligro lome de sungip chegi cheto yana lo soegi cheto insigres di gelagi chimju chechen ensangi nezuden haku chungna an gelal lagos la oh yeah yes thank you.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that for just a second, and then we'll take a break. So right now we are up to the power transmission. So when we come back, we're going to be going through these. And but when we meet again, I will first ask if there's any questions over anything that we've covered so far.
So you mean after the break?
Yeah,
Or
after
now?
the break, I'll take any questions that people might have, and then I'll go to this.
Okay, sounds good. 아니, 단다 딜 레슨스. 디딩 also 아니 로야 뭐 유해주와 가는 용도면데 맞아 차발싱기 제일 치기스. 이나야 딩을이야 차발싱야 초용으로와. 야 초용데 캐란스 단다바드 장교 데다 저와 유 치와든데 요베나 안게라 치와 카시슬레 엔드니 마무튼 치기스. 디서베. Oh yeah. I think it's all good.
Okay.